Hello, how are you? I'm Julia, and for this video I'm going to be talking about the 10 books that I have read since March that are standalones. I am up to 46 books this year, which I think is great. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. The first book is How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams. This follows Naya and Jake. Naya is about 3 years out of an abusive relationship, and one night she has dinner with her friends who are a married couple, and they're like, we should take you out, like, you need to get back out of your shell, like, we miss the old you, which I thought was kind of messed up, but it's beside the point. So she goes out to meet them there, and something happens with the husband's mom. He can't make it, and then the wife has to watch their twin girls, so they don't show up, and she meets Jake. And at this like dinner party that they had, they made a list of the things that she should do. Let a guy buy her a drink, try something new, a no strings attached hookup. I think it's longer than that, but that's what's on the back. And Naya and Jake kind of start a long distance relationship, and yeah, there's like trouble. This has an abusive ex, and also like another issue is that she's a professor, like a math professor at this college, and their college is underfunded, and Jake is the company that comes in to kind of decide what to keep and what not to keep. So no one can know that they're in a relationship, and her ex is also a huge part of this story. There's a lot of flashbacks, and the last 50 pages or so are kind of anxiety-inducing, to be completely honest, because he does come back and assault her, so just beware of that. But I really enjoyed this. I liked Naya. I liked her character development while in a relationship. I thought that the way that it was written was wonderful, because I feel like a lot of authors write these women in abusive relationships or ex-abusive relationships, and it's not handled correctly. Like, they fall in love and it's like all is cured, and like that's not what happens. So I think that this was handled really well. I believe at the end it's kind of talked about how like she'll be forever recovering from this abusive relationship that she was in, and I thought that was really well done. And her kind of coming back out of her shell, like not only because of Jake, because of herself, and like becoming more confident in who she is and in her job, and I really liked that. I also really liked Jake. He seemed very understanding, even though he didn't know what was going on with her. He seemed very charming. I really liked them as a couple. I thought, like, I hate the non-communication trope, and that was not used in this. Like, they communicated with each other, and I thought that was also great. Yeah, I just really liked them personally and them as a couple, so highly recommend. I gave this 4.5 stars. The next book is The Girl and the Goddess, Stories and Poems of Divine Wisdom by Nikita Gill. This follows Pero through her life in India and moving towards London in her teen adult life. This also contains sexual assault when she's, I believe, 6 or 7. So if that is a trigger for you, I wouldn't read this, or like skip it. I don't know. It happens towards the very beginning, but I gave this 3 stars. I have really mixed feelings about it, because I say this every time, I'm not really a poem person, but I seem to just pick up poem books and then not like them. So, but I did really enjoy the short stories, because as she's growing up, she is dreaming of gods and goddesses, and she speaks to them in her dreams, and those were the parts that I was like super invested in, invested in and interested in, and like I couldn't put it down. Like I wanted to know what they were going to talk about, like what the lesson was. And the poems just kind of fell flat to me. I don't know if it's like, I'm not a poem expert, so I don't really know, but some poems to me seem like cut up sentences and then just passed off as poems. So that's what some of them felt like to me. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, the storytelling in this was absolutely beautiful, but some of it just fell flat, and I think personally I would have enjoyed this more if it was written as a novel. So, yeah. The next book is The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. This follows Naomi and Ethan. Naomi, if you don't know, if you didn't read, the roommate is Josh's ex-girlfriend / ex-adult film star partner, and they have a sex-positive startup together with Josh's now fiance, Clara. I hope that made sense. So she is trying to become a lecturer. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, she wants to extend her educational platform to live lecturing. So she goes to this seminar thing and she meets Ethan, and Ethan walks up to her and asks her if she will come to his synagogue and do a 7-week course on modern intimacy for the younger goers of his synagogue, because he's the rabbi. And they start a friendship, and it turns into more, and I loved this. This made me be like, Rosie Danan publishes a book and I'm buying it immediately. I love her writing. I think she writes characters extremely well. And like every time she like writes a character, I think it feels very organic, and the way that they have their character development. Like Ethan is struggling with his synagogue. It's very low on funds and he doesn't know if it's going to be able to stay open, and then he hires Naomi, and that makes the board, I can't remember exactly what they're called, but like kind of like the older members of the church or the synagogue, kind of like iffy about it. Like they don't like it. They're old school. This is obviously not old school, and so he's struggling with that, and also kind of like wanting to be with her and like trying to decide like between being a rabbi and her. And she is struggling with her faith because she grew up Jewish, and she's now like doing this thing at this synagogue, and she's struggling with it. But I thought the way that she wrote them and how they get to where they go, not only as themselves but as a couple, was just, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. It felt very organic. I think I said that. Congregation, that's what it's called. The people that go to the synagogue, go to church as a congregation. It was very slow burn. So if you're not a slow burn person, this probably isn't for you. I'm kind of like, I don't really care either way. I just hate insta love. So this was good, but I was also like, dude, when is something gonna happen? Because I think it took like 200 pages for them to even kiss, which is fine. Like, I liked their friendship aspect, but I was also like, what's going on? The only thing, and this is like just like personal preference, is that I felt like there should have been more Josh and Clara, considering we had Naomi and she was like at work a lot. Like, we got a lot of Clara, but we didn't get a lot of Josh. So I just really enjoyed this. I like the way she writes. The next book is Hate Thy Neighbor by S.M. Soto. I can't remember why I bought this. I think it was in like a book group on Facebook, and people were like, this is so good. And they were wrong. I mean, they probably thought it was good, but this follows Roman and Olivia. Olivia, we start out with Olivia. This is in dual point of view. So is the intimacy experiment, and I don't know if How to Fail at Flirting is not into it in dual point of view, I don't think. But we start off with Olivia, and she's just moved like 6 hours from her parents and her little brother. And she's like, we basically start off with her being annoying to her mom because her mom is worried about her. And like, so from the get-go, I did not like this girl. And then she bakes bundt cakes for the neighbor, which is like fine. So she goes over to the one neighbor, and it's like an older couple, and they're like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then she goes to Roman's house, and he like answers the door in a towel and just like does not speak to her. 0 words come out of his mouth. And obviously she's like, oh my god, he's so hot. It completely like takes away the fact that he's being a complete jerk to her, which like I feel like sometimes is fine because like the character like redeems himself in some way, but he like doesn't redeem himself at all. He's just a straight up douchebag. It's just them being neighbors, and like it's like an enemies to lovers, and I didn't like it at all. I gave it 1.5 stars. Like it was just, he was just annoying, and she was annoying. She was just so mean to her parents when they had like a legitimate reason to be worried about her, and I didn't like that at all. Like her parents, like, it wasn't like she had like an abusive parent and like she had a reason to be like, no mom, I don't want to talk to you. Like she just like didn't want to talk to her parents, and I thought that was messed up. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but like her mom, when they did come to visit, was annoying, but that aside, she was an annoying character. So was Roman. Yeah, that's it. They just like, and then I don't know, it wasn't good. I didn't like this. I don't think it's worth it. Ryder, Roman's little brother, he's cute. I liked him. I also liked Roman's dog, Max, because like Roman is trying to get custody of his little brother, and like you'd think that would like make him like a little bit redeemable, but like it doesn't. He's awful. And like, not that he's awful to his brother, but like he's just awful. And I think she's pregnant, and I was like, this, like, I have no issue with the pregnancy trope, okay? I don't care. It doesn't happen until the end, but it still felt kind of like, why? Like, I don't see the point. I didn't like it. And then, oh my god, and she rips off 10 Things I Hate About You. Like, you know how in 10 Things I Hate About You, when Kat is like, I hate the way you do this and that, and Roman says that to Olivia, and I was like, I hated this. It's so annoying. Next is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I don't think I said her last name correctly, but this follows Ava and Alex, and Alex is Ava's brother's best friend, and he is like some CEO dude who makes a shit ton of money, and his parents were murdered. So that is a mystery in this story, is like he's trying to find out who murdered his parents. And then Ava she's like a photographer, and he has to pick her up one night, and that's how their relationship starts, because her brother is leaving. He's like a doctor, and he's going to Doctors Without Borders, I think, or he's just going to volunteer, I can't remember. And because he's not a doctor yet, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And basically he's leaving the country, and he asks Alex to live in his house, which is next door to Ava, so that he can watch out for her. I don't know why he needed to do that, but whatever. So they obviously start a relationship. I don't think this is necessarily slow burn, but like it is kind of like enemies to friends to lovers type thing. So there's like a lot of sexual tension. It was good. I really enjoyed this, actually. Ava also has some shit happening. She has, like, a lot of suppressed memories of, like, her mom trying to kill her, which, geez, oh, Pete's. So that is also another mystery, is, like, what is she not remembering? It all comes out in the end, and it's very obvious, but I did still really enjoy this. It was fun. I liked their relationship. He is a dick, but he is also redeemable, like, I think. Some people might read this and go, oh my god, he's disgusting. But what I thought was good, what I think is good in authors, is when characters kind of, like, take responsibility for what they've done and their actions. And there was a twist that I was like, oh shit, I did not see that coming. But the ending, like, when everything happens and, like, they, like, break up for a little bit and then they get back together, and he, like, what is it called? Gravels. And I thought it was good. I mean, it was a fun read. Like, I feel like sometimes people take things too seriously when they read things, and they're, like, trying to find, like, this book that's going to change their life. And I'm not looking for anything that's going to change my life. I just want to enjoy it, and I enjoyed this. So, next is Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig. I gave this 5 stars. This focuses on the internet, apps, and, like, how obsessed this generation of people are, as well as, like, I think every generation, like, alive right now is obsessed with the internet, and how the internet kind of, like, manipulates us into taking photos and, like, comparing ourselves to others, and apps being blue because the color blue, like, makes you stay up later. And, like, yeah, it was really interesting. I really enjoyed this. I really like the way Matt Haig writes, especially about his mental illness stuff. He kind of just, like, puts things into words. You know how, like, people, you, like, think things and you're like, how do I say this? And then someone says it and you're like, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, he's so good at that, for me anyway. And this book made me want to reevaluate how much time I spend on the internet. Did it change when I read this in June? No. Do I still spend a shit ton of time on the internet? Yes. But it made me think about it, and now it's making me think about it again. But yeah, that's it. I think Matt Haig is really good. So the last page of this also made me cry, so I highly recommend this. You wouldn't think that, like, a self-help book would make you cry, but it did. Next is Match Cut by Julie Olivia. This follows Keaton and Violet. This is another brother's best friend, which apparently I have a thing for. I didn't know that, but I think I do. The whole, like, secrecy of it. But Violet has been away, I think, for, like, 10 years, around there, give or take. She has been off, like, filming a documentary that got nominated for some awards, and she now has money to make another one. So she's home brainstorming, and she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do this documentary about. And Keaton is like, or one day she has, like, an epiphany, and she's like, I should do it about small towns, because they live in a super small town and it's kind of dying. So she's like, maybe we should do it about small dying towns that still kind of have, like, life in it. And Keaton is like, I can take you on a tour. I don't necessarily know why she needs to be taken on a tour of a town that she grew up in, but she's been gone for 10 years, so I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't know. And then they fall in love, obviously. I was expecting, you know, that feeling that you got when you were, like, 13 and you read a YA romance, summer romance, and you were like, this is so good. It just gave you those feels. That's what I was expecting with this, but in, like, adult romance, like, new adult romance, and that's not what I got at all. I was a little underwhelmed about this. It's only 130 pages and it was slow, and then it felt really rushed, like their relationship. And I don't know, it was nothing spectacular. It was cute. Read it, don't read it, it's completely up to you. It was cute though, I'll give her that. But like, also, I don't buy it paperback, just read it on your Kindle. Next is The Monster by LJ Shen. I don't know if I just like found out all this shit about LJ Shen and my opinion has changed of her, so I'm critiquing her writing more, or if this is just shit. I think it's just shit, because if you've read The Hunter and The Villain, you read this. It's the same thing. This follows Sam and Aisling. Sam is Sparrow's, not Sparrow, well, yeah, if you read Sparrow, it's Sparrow and Troy's adopted son. And then, what is her name? Sailor's older brother. And then Aisling is Hunter's sister. More names. She's obviously, like, if you read the other two books, she's been in love with him for, like, ever. I think it's been, like, 10 years. And, he's just not having it. Like, he does not like her. He doesn't want anything to do with her. And I can't even remember, like, how their relationship starts. Oh, I do remember. She, like, she goes to his club in a wig for, like, Halloween, and he doesn't know it's her. But, like, he legitimately doesn't know it's her, and I don't know how he doesn't know. Like, he doesn't figure it out until, like, she's half naked. But it was dumb. Then, like, things start up, and it was just, it was so much. Like, so much happened, but, like, nothing happened at the same time. Like, like I said, if you read The Villain and The Hunter, like, you read this. Like, it's the same thing. Like, what is it called? Plot. Same plot, same, like, I can't remember what it's called. Basically, like, Hunter, he's a player. He doesn't want to have a girlfriend. Killian is, like, completely closed off. He doesn't want a girlfriend. He does this so that he can have the thing, the company. And he is a monster, so he doesn't want a girlfriend. And she's just, like, in love with him. And then they, like, connect over this dumb thing that she does because they're both monsters. And monster is used so often. Like, I think I read a Goodreads review and she was like, it's used like 100 and some times. It's used almost every page. It's ridiculous. I don't really know if LJ Shen actually knows how to write sociopaths or psychopaths. She just writes dudes with, like, mental health issues that don't get help. And they're just kind of assholes who, like, don't know how to handle their feelings. And they're, like, he, for instance, takes it as, like, oh, I had a shit mom, so I can be shitty to people because I have no feelings. And I didn't, like, I don't know. I do enjoy LJ Shen's books, and to think she's just, like, losing her touch. But I don't really like her standalones, and I'm surprised that I'm not liking her series. But I do think it's because I found out she's a bitch. The prologue, where Sam is, like, 9, and he's talking like he's 25. I hate that. I hate it when children talk above their age. Drives me crazy. The last thing that I want to talk about is the girl group. We did not get enough of the girl group. And then at the end, when they're all, like, kind of, they do, like, they, like, sit down and, like, try to tell Aisling that she shouldn't go after Sam because he's just awful, which, like, true. But then she's like, dude, Sailor, you have nothing to talk about. Belle, you have nothing to talk about. or is it Persephone? I can't remember. Basically saying that, like, their husbands were just as much of assholes as he is. Not that that's, like, an excuse, but, they were just evil to her about it. And I didn't really like that. I think it kind of ruined the friend group for me, which I thought was, like, a good thing in the books, is that, like, they had this, like, genuine friendship, and it was just not, kind of ruined it. But, and then they, like, hugged, and I was like, I would literally have left. Like, what shitty friends. And then, I don't know, I thought Aisling and Sam were both kind of annoying. They were, like, whiny. I don't think Sam had any redeeming qualities, and I thought Aisling was just kind of, like, the reason for her doing what she was doing was understandable, but also, like, stupid. And I don't know. Like, I understood her. Like, she seemed like a woman who just, like, was definitely neglected as a child, and this is what she was doing this for someone who loved her. I don't know. It just, people seem to neglect her. And, like, I can understand why she fucking fell in love with Sam. But, like, I didn't like this. I gave it 2 stars. So. Next is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you live under a rock and you don't know what this is about, this follows Daisy Jones and the band, The Six, and their rise and fall of fame. I loved this. I bought this as soon as it came out. Like, I got it at Target, and then I never read it, and I regret that so deeply. Like, I definitely should have picked this up and read it immediately because it's so good. The way that Taylor Jenkins Reid writes is just phenomenal. Like, it's so good. Like, she really pulls you in and, like, makes you feel all of the feelings towards not only, like, what's happening in the story, but the characters. I also want to add, because I'm an idiot and I didn't talk about this, how much I absolutely despised Daisy. I went into this book thinking that I was going to love her, and I didn't like her at all. I don't think she is a good character in any way. I didn't talk about this either, but I didn't like the storyline of Billy and Daisy. I thought it was pointless. I thought it was useless. I don't think it got the story anywhere. I think that people can write love songs and not have feelings towards each other, and I just thought it was kind of like I thought it was pointless. I didn't think there was any point, as I said, to that storyline. I don't think it really got anywhere. It was just so good. I mean, I don't think there's really anything else to say. Like, she definitely deserves the hype for this book that she got and is I think, still getting. Highly recommend. The only thing that I didn't like, and the reason I gave it 4 stars and not 5, is I didn't like the interview style of the writing. The writing itself was fantastic, but the way that it was written, I didn't like. I like to be inside of people's heads when I read and, like, get emotions and feelings and thoughts, and you don't get this. You get, like, stories, which is fine. It was written really well. But, I don't know, I just felt like there was no, like, real relationships formed. Like, obviously there were relationships formed. There's multiple throughout the book, but it just, like, I didn't feel it. I hope that's making sense. Like, I feel like I knew the characters myself, but I don't know if the characters knew each other. Does that make more sense? I don't know. But, I feel like this would have been more fun to read if, like, it was happening in, like, present time and we were getting every character's point of view through, like, the making of the music and the tour and, like, everything that happened. Like, I loved it, but I think that would have been more interesting for me. But I did really enjoy it. Also, the other thing that, like, this might have just been me, is the names. So, like, at the beginning, she, like, says, like, okay, Daisy Jones is the lead singer of Daisy Jones and the Six. And then she says Billy is the lead singer. Graham is the guitarist. I can't remember. Graham is... Warren is the drummer. Graham is Billy's brother and the lead guitar. Yeah, so I just, like, I still don't know. I had to go back sometimes. Like, as the story went on, I obviously remembered, but it took me a while to remember who was who and what they were doing. And I don't know, maybe that's just my brain. I feel like that could have been handled better, like, written after every time for, like, more than the first time they're introduced. But I do highly recommend that, like everyone else. The last book is The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. This is just things that when he is in kind of a slump, a hole, like, mentally, that he thinks of, and he, like, writes down, and he just put it in a book, and I really enjoyed this. It's stories and, like, just, like, lines, like, of his life. Like, for instance, let me find a short one. Like, he talks about, okay, mountain. In order to get over a problem, it helps you to look at it. You can't climb a mountain that you pretend isn't there. So it's, like, just little things like that. And then there's, like, longer ones, like, stories that he tells. It's very short. You can read it in a day. I really do enjoy Matt Haig and his writing, but I do think if you read, like, his self-help books, this one, Notes on a Nervous Planet and Reasons to Stay Alive, they do unfortunately kind of start to blend together because he is obviously talking about his own life a lot. So a lot of stories are reused, and, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but when you're reading the same author all of his books, it does kind of get annoying and overused. So yeah, that's it. My voice hurts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, all that jazz. All of my social medias will be linked down below. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.